care of my oldest son up until 2005, and then physical care went over to my ex-husband, and it went from him having weekends to me having weekends, Your Honor.
That was through Child Protective Services?
No, not on my son, just on Emma, Your Honor.
Just on our daughter.
So Child Protective Services did not remove the older child and place the older child in foster care, but they removed the younger child. How old was Emma when she was removed?
She was 5 weeks old, but it wasn't my relative. I'm sorry, 5 weeks old, Your Honor.
Why was she removed?
The defendant had put bruises. I have pictures of what he did to her and what he did to me at the time, and this is why she was removed.
Can I see it, please?
Yes. And he was actually founded for the abuse on her face and pleaded out to the abuse on me.
Judge, there is another thing that is being removed for that, for being both of us being founded for that bruise on her, and it's still in our appeal.
Who's responsible for the bruises on the defendant?
That's me.
That would be you.
I pleaded guilty, yep.
How many times did you plead guilty to assault?
Just once.
He was arrested several times, sorry.
Prior to your relationship with the defendant, were you involved in another relationship?
Yes.
Were you ever arrested with regard to that relationship for domestic violence?
We both were, yes.
I didn't ask about both. I said you.
Yes, I did.
What are you smiling about?
Because it's not nice for me what I did. I regret it.
Well, then why are you smiling? That's an inappropriate affect. You know what they say about inappropriate affect? They usually say that you're crazy when you have inappropriate affect. Is your grandmother still alive?
One, yes.
Okay, if somebody said to you that your grandmother died, would you smile?
Probably not.
Right, because that would be an appropriate affect. You would look sad. You would say, oh my goodness. So when I ask you about who did this and whether you were ever arrested for domestic violence and you smile, it's inappropriate.
Sorry, Judge.
You did it again. What stuff do you claim she took? Let's just get to it.
Tools.
Tools. You have his tools?
I have pictures of what tools I have. There's no way anything in the house was supposed to...
Listen to me.
Yes.
Stop shaking.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
You have his tools?
No, not the tools that he claims.
I don't care tools he claims. The tools that you have. You have tools.
One toolbox and one tote of tools.
Good. Very, very good. You're going to return those to him?
I absolutely will.
Absolutely. Within 5 days. You get your tools back, sir, within 5 days. What else do you claim she has of yours?
A leather jacket.
A leather jacket. Do you have it?
I could have it. I wore it when I was pregnant.
Listen to me very carefully. I want you to give him back his leather jacket. Okay. Perfect. What else?
A pool stick.
There's a pool stick?
Yeah.
You never hit her with it.
List.
Look at me. I'm talking. You never hit her with the pool stick, did you?
No.
Do you have his pool stick, madam?
I don't believe so.
She has no pool stick. What else?
Half a utility bill.
Forget it.
And my Mark Martin perm.
You what?
My NASCAR stuff.
Your NASCAR stuff. What kind of NASCAR stuff?
Mark Martin propel, you know, like cars.
I have no idea. You're mumbling, you're garbling your words.
Mark Martin cars, there's like number 6 race car NASCAR.
A race car number 6. Do you have his race car
We
NASCAR?
redid my son's room in NASCAR, and he gave this Mark Martin stuff. My son's a junior fan.
That's
he gave it
not
to my
true,
son
Your
in his
Honor.
room.
Just 1 second. I want you to consider it a gift to the 10-year-old. What's next?
That's
it.
That's it.
Listen, within 5 days, you're going to return to him in a nice box his tools that you have and his leather jacket.
Okay.
You're going to look around and see if you can find his pool cue.
Okay.
If you can find his pool cue, you're going to send it to him. Who are you?
Sorry, I'm his mother.
I wouldn't acknowledge that fact before all these people. Madam, do you hear what I just said? He sued for his property. He just told me what his property was. Don't help him. That's what he says his property was.
Excuse me, Judge.
He didn't understand, I'm sure.
He didn't understand? That's not my problem. I didn't raise him. That's your problem. You raised an abuser. That's your problem. I would take care of that before I took care of anything else.
I went through my class on that. Excuse me, Judge.
Let me explain something. Did you go through the class the last time you beat up a woman?
I didn't have to because we had mutual agreement.
Mutual combatants.
He graduated BEP and did it
Listen.
again. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I got it. I'm not excusing you. You picked him.
I got a restraining order and left.
Very good.
For my
You're going to
kids.
get your stuff all ready.
I got that restraining order right here saying that why did she stay in my house before then? She still came in.
Mr. Munson, you came to court asking for the court's help in getting you your property back. She says she has some tools that belong to you, and she is more than willing to give you those tools back. She also believes she has your leather jacket, which she is going to give you back. You also want a little toy car.
There's a bunch of them.
And she was honest with me the first two things. She said, I think I have his tools, and I have his leather jacket. About the cars, you redecorated while you were together the 10-year-old's room, and you put those cars in his room. That makes it a gift. You don't get those back.
That's because it's a 2-bedroom apartment. Where else are we going to put it in our 2-bedroom apartment?
You don't want me to answer that question, sir.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is he your only child?
No.
Are the other ones normal?
Yes.
The other one is normal.
Both of them.
He's not normal.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Justin Munson claims the mother of his daughter, Tasha Schnipkowite, won't return his tools or his NASCAR collectibles. Tasha is countersuing, claiming Justin physically abused her and their infant daughter.
Now I want you to give me the date of this assault that you are complaining about.
It was Memorial Weekend, May of 2006.
That wasn't this assault, was it?
No, that was October when my daughter was removed, October of 05. All I have is my hospital records of
Can I see it, please?
Absolutely, Your Honor. In that incident, he had swallowed my eyes shut.
Do you have any photographs?
I didn't get photographs.
Okay. I would like you to tell me what happened on Memorial Day.
Okay, I picked him up from work and we had went out for a couple drinks, and he has a very, very jealous tendency. Always.
Why were you drinking? You got a problem?
He states that I have a problem drinking, Your Honor. I don't drink any more than anybody else might. Okay.
You may and may not, but I wouldn't drink at all.
That's true. That is true.
So you went out for a couple of drinks and
prior to that, we'd separated and I just moved back in with him. And when we were separated, I had started dating somebody else. And he always wanted me to tell him in detail everything about the man. Well, when he drank, that's when his anger really flares. And so we had gotten home and he started asking me questions about the other gentleman. And I wasn't willing to talk about it, so he held me down on the couch. And he just over and over in my head and in my face. And I had to wait till he passed out, and I ran down the street to my mother's house. And my mother then called the DHS because we had a visit with our daughter that weekend. And they didn't think that our daughter should come the next day with me looking the way I did. And
okay.
Okay.
You want to tell me your version, Mr. Munson, of what happened on Memorial Day?
She got hit by a softball, Judge. I got it written right here, statement from her saying she did.
You mean from the emergency room?
Nope, from the emergency room said that, and from what she told the DHS.
I had
Oh,
said I would never get my
that's no
daughter
question.
back.
That's what she told them, that she got hit with a softball or maybe a bus. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you what happened on Memorial Day, sir. I expect an answer. Look, don't look there. And don't look there. Listen to me. There is no question you assaulted her on Memorial Day. There is no question in my mind that you assaulted her on Memorial Day. Maybe you have an excuse. Maybe there was a reason. Maybe you were drinking. Maybe she was drinking. But don't tell me she got hit with a baseball. Do you understand? That's what she told them so that they weren't going to remove the little girl again or keep you both from her because of the domestic violence. So let's hear it.
I was out with my friend in Illinois that day.
Why didn't you bring your witness?
Because I was told that I didn't need him.
Well, you do. Oh. There you go with that stupid affect again, Mr. Munson. You want to tell me what happened on Memorial Day?
I came home at 11 and she came home next day. I don't remember what day it was, but it was the next day at 5 in the morning and her eye was swollen shut, and we took her to the hospital about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Your Honor, we went to his mother's that weekend, and she's the only one that knew the truth.
Just a sec. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to get the truth out of his mother. She's going to continue to cover for him like she's been covering for him his whole life.
Yes.
But I know that he assaulted you. No question. And it would be outrageous for you to say a word. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Can I please have the medical report, please? One of these days, he's going to really hurt somebody, madam. He's going to really hurt somebody because he's a nasty drunk. He's a nasty, vicious drunk. Tasha stated that she received the bruising on her face, arms, because they're concerned about returning this child to a household where there is domestic violence. She received the bruising on her face, arms, and inner thigh at the end of May from a baseball. You got... Is he your only child?
No.
Are the other ones normal?
Yes. He's married and has a child.
The other one is normal.
All of them. Both of them.
He's not normal. He's not normal.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When you bring a child up in an abusive household, like you did, that's what they become. They become an abuser.
And later today,
The defendant says that you did finance some reconstructive cosmetic surgery.
She wanted to start a new life, and no cosmetic surgeon is going to take payment, so I paid for it up front.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Justin Munson claims the mother of his daughter, Tasha Schnipkowite, won't return his tools or his NASCAR collectibles. Tasha is countersuing, claiming Justin physically abused her and their infant daughter.
Okay. Were you married to their father?
Yes.
Did he
He
beat
was
you?
abusive.
Yes.
Did he beat you?
Yes.
That's what happens. Abusers see their mothers abused. That's what they think happens. That's the way they think people live. You're allowed to do it. It's accepted. Don't you read things? Don't you watch television? Don't you see documentaries? Don't you read newspapers? When you bring a child up in an abusive household, like you did, that's what they become. They become an abuser, like your son. And don't make excuses for him. You may have made excuses for your husband, but don't make excuses for your son. Judgment for the defendant on the counterclaim in the amount of $5,000. Thank you very much. That's it.
Why did I ask you to stay here? Stay here for a minute.
It took a lot for me to move on, and now I'm doing, I don't want to stay with an abusive man.
Hitting over head with a pan. I got hit with anything she could grab.
I don't want to raise my kids to grow up to be what he is.
I was wrong in what I've done, yes, but
You took
I mean, I
classes.
took my part in doing my classes to make myself better.
He promised he'd change, and again, it just kept happening over and over and over.
I got a good woman now that she has no problem with me.
When you start seeing those red flags, get out.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Smith versus Strive. Step forward, please.
Belinda Smith is suing her cousin, Laura Strive, for a loan to have cosmetic surgery. Laura claims she never agreed to pay back the entire amount.
Miss Smith, this is your cousin, and your complaint alleges a loan to her for some reconstructive cosmetic surgery. The defendant says that you did, in fact, finance the surgery for her. You did so as a gift because you cared about her. At this point, you're angry that she decided to go back to her husband. That's your defense.
Yes.
Were you good friends as well as relatives?
Years ago we were, but I hadn't seen her for 17 years prior to the
what?
surgery.
Prior to the surgery? Well, then tell me how it came about if you hadn't seen her.
She had left her husband and came to stay with me, and then when my house became available, she moved into my house and rented out my house. Once she did that, I ended up leaving.
Did she rent out your house alone?
Initially, yes, she was living there alone, and I moved back in my house with her, and we shared the house together as roommates.
The two of you?
Yes.
For how long?
I want to say April to when she left in January.
Okay, tell me how it came about.
When she came to live with me, she was always down and out. She was without a sternum bone, without a breastbone, and very insecure with herself. She was going through a divorce. She signed divorce papers. She left her husband. She wanted to start a new life.
Tell me how it came about. Don't tell me why you did it. I didn't ask you why. Tell me how it came about.
I really couldn't. It was just a conversation we had, and we went on a couple of consultations. I'm even paying the finance charges. She knew.
Just tell me how it came about, Miss Smith.
I don't know if it was just something that I offered to do for her, but she also knew right away that she had to
Tell
pay
me what
back.
she knew. What you have to tell me is how this loan came about. And if you don't remember, you don't remember.
It was just a conversation we had. I told her that I would pay it up front because no cosmetic surgeon is going to take payments, so I paid for it up front. Then starting in January, she was supposed to pay me $100 a month until it was paid.
And how much did you pay the doctor?
$5,100.
You have proof of that?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see proof of that and proof where it came from your bank account.
I have my bank statements and proof of that.
Okay. I have $49.50.
I believe I paid $100 in cash on the day of the surgery as well.
Well,
but I don't have to-
$49.50 is what you can prove. Okay, then what happens? She had surgery.
She had the surgery done. Everything went well. I took care of her as well after the surgery. She went back to her husband, and the day that she left, she gave me $100 in cash. And about 3 to 4 weeks afterwards, she paid me a $300 check out of her and her husband's checking account, and I haven't received anything since. And then I hired a lawyer. And
What was
he
the
sent
money
her-
for that you sent her?
I was going to pay her back some of the money. It was never.
But that's what the money was for that you sent to her.
Yes, yes.
How much of the $5,000 were you going to pay her back?
I had offered to pay her half. It was a gift. It was intended.
Don't tell me what it was. That's
okay.
for me to determine.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why didn't you put the check in the mail?
Because at the time we were on good terms. All I wanted to do was.
Why didn't you just put it in the mail slot in her house?
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Okay. When did you tell her you were going to pay her half?
It was after the surgery was already done. We were at Busch Gardens talking, and I said, well, it was a lot of money. I said, I'd like to be able to go ahead and pay you half of it. And I decided afterwards that I was going back to my husband. She didn't want to hear of it. She says, well, I just want all my money.
Well, why didn't you pay her back half?
Your Honor, I did try to. I went to her house 3 times to pay her some money. She was not there 2 times. The third time I went there, I offered her a $1,000 check. She refused to take the check.
You mean a $1,000 check in total satisfaction?
No. As in payment for the rest of the year, and then in January, I would continue payments at $100 a month until half of it was paid. because I did offer to pay her half.
Well, I don't understand why you didn't just send her a check for half. Why you went to her house? Why didn't you just send it?
I went 3 times just so that I can give it to her personally.
So why didn't you put the check in the mail?
Because at the time we were on good terms. All I wanted to do was
Why
just
didn't you just put it in the mail slot in her house? You were there already.
I was there, but I didn't
So
want
you
to
take,
leave
you
money
take it,
sitting
you
out.
put it in the mail slot. Finished. I don't believe a word you say. You're full of baloney.
Ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $45.50. Thank you very much. That's all. Step out.
Now, this is case number 251 on the calendar in the matter of Bosworth versus Bosworth. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mrs. Bosworth, this is your former husband.
Yes, ma'am.
You have 2 children together, and it is your claim that he is responsible for having you falsely arrested after an incident that involved one of your children who was 18.
Yes.
Mr. Bosworth says that you caused the whole incident yourself.
Correct.
Now, you were married when?
In 1988.
And when were you divorced?
97, ma'am.
Who had primary physical custody of the children in 1997?
I did.
And how often did their father spend time with them?
Not that often, ma'am.
How often, Mr. Bosworth, did you visit with your children starting in 1997?
It varied. It usually was once a week.
Usually. Sometimes you skipped a week.
Sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on my work schedule.
What kind of work do you do, sir?
I'm a police officer right now,
How long have you been a police officer?
since 1999.
And did you have a reasonable relationship with your former wife?
No, my relationship with my former wife has been hostile and unreasonable.
Okay. Now, I tried to piece together from your complaint and from your answer what transpired on, what date did this happen?
July 24th of 05.
And I gather that you had an argument with your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
The argument was about,
Her not cleaning her room.
had that been an ongoing problem?
Yes, all weekend I had asked her to clean her room, Friday and Saturday. Sunday, her room was still a mess. She constantly was on the telephone. And at that point, I removed the cell phone. I told her until she was to clean the room, that cell phone was not going to be given back to her.
Now, this is the problem. Mr. Bosworth,
Yes,
your former wife takes the telephone away from her daughter, who has not followed a house direction. So far, correct?
correct.
And as far as I'm concerned, so far her prerogative. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would.
So your daughter calls you on the phone and says to you, she took my phone away.
No.
Well, tell me what happened, sir, that brought you over to the house that day.
I originally got the phone from my daughter.
I don't care. Don't give me any stories about giving the phone to a teenage daughter. How did you come over to the house that day, Mr. Bosworth?
I had gotten tired of not being able to contact my daughter via the cell phone. Therefore, I went to the house that day. On July 24th of 05.
July 24th, you tried to contact your daughter.
Yes,
And you couldn't.
correct.
Go ahead.
So the phone was in my name. I purchased the phone for her use. Therefore, I wanted the phone back because if my daughter's not going to be able to use it... Because,
Mr. Bosworth, you're skipping a step, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
And don't skip a step with me.
What step would you like me to begin at, Judge?
I want to know when you found out that your former wife had taken the phone away from your daughter.
I had called that day, and my daughter had told me
That's right.
that she had taken the phone again.
So, you went over there because you wanted your phone back.
Correct.
Wrong! 125% wrong. Your daughter complained to you that her mother took the phone, and you went over there and stuck your nose in where it didn't belong. Because while your daughter is living under her mother's roof, her mother owns the air she breathes.
Okay.
And if you gave your daughter a phone to use, you don't get in between that sort of discipline between her and her daughter. You interfered with discipline for the person who has primary physical custody of the 2 children. She ignored her mother's direction for 3 days, and her mother said, listen, I'm tired of seeing you sitting on the phone for 3 days while I asked you to clean up the room that's in my house that I pay for. So give me the phone. You come and say, it's not your phone. You give me the phone.
Correct.
That was the wrong thing to do, sir. Now, did you call the police, sir?
When I went to retrieve the phone, my ex-wife slammed the door in my face and refused
Because
to give...
you came in and said, what did you say, Mr. Bosworth?
I asked my ex-wife...
What did you say? Don't ask me.
If she would give me the phone back.
What did he say, Miss Bosworth? That's not what you said.
Where the F is my phone?
That sounds right, Mr. Bosworth.
That's very...
That sounds right, Mr.
Can I
Bosworth, because
say-
how far do you live?
About 5-10 minutes from her house.
And what were you doing when you called your daughter and said, I can't get in touch with you?
I was just hanging around the house, I believe.
And what time of the day or evening was it?
Early evening. Sometime
And your
after
family
4.
was home?
I believe so.
And you have a wife?
Yes.
You have children?
Not with my current wife, no.
She has children
Yes.
that live with you?
Yes, at the time.
Good. So now you have a wife and children, and you get up and you leave them to go over and retrieve your cell phone. So my sense of that, sir, is that you were annoyed, especially since you indicated to me briefly a moment ago that it's not the first time she's taken away the phone, right?
Correct.
So you were really annoyed this time. And when you got there, you want me to believe, Mr. Bosworth, that you said to your former wife, may I please have my phone back? That's what you want me to believe you said?
Your Honor, I am not a loud person. I'm not a violent person.
I don't say you're loud or violent, sir. I'm asking you if you want me to believe that you knocked at the door and said, I'd like my phone back.
I'm not hostile to the point where I will curse at her in her own home. I am very respectful of her in her own home as well as my children in her own home.
You know, sir, I know you've been a police officer for almost 10 years. I've been sitting here for almost 30. Some things make sense and some things don't make sense. What doesn't make sense is why somebody would get in their car in the evening, leave their family, and go over to their former wife's home where there had been a dispute with an adult child, because she's 18 years old, and there was no indication that her mother had beat her, had tied her to a radiator, had stripped her down and throttled her with a belt. She took away her cell phone because she was being disrespectful. You left your family, you went over there, and you caused a problem.
No, I did not.
Oh, yes, you did. Did you call the police?
Before the problem...
Did you call the police?
Yes, I did.
Because you didn't get your cell phone?
Because I didn't want a problem with my ex-wife.
Slam the door.
Mr. Bosworth, you're not following me, sir. If you think that you're right, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. And I'm usually very, very respectful of police officers because I think that they do a very tough job. You abused your position as a police officer by calling the police to go over there and retrieve a cell phone.
At that time.
They have better things to do than to deal with your ego. They have people to protect. And if you wanted your cell phone back, all you have to do is you call and you say to the cell phone company, I'm discontinuing the service on this cell phone. That's it. And you tell your daughter, listen, you want to live with your mother? You got to live with her rules. I'm not interfering with that. You chose to interfere with it, and you made a big to-do over nothing. And if you feel as if you're being dressed down today, you are. You are being dressed down because you did the wrong thing. That doesn't mean that you have a case, Miss Bosworth. That means that he behaved badly.
Yes.
So far.
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I said, I don't have his phone. This officer said, you're lying. At this point, he came around, handcuffed me so quickly, I couldn't even tell you how he put the cuffs on me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Maria Bosworth claims ex-husband, police officer Anthony Bosworth Sr., had her falsely arrested for child abuse. Anthony says Maria got herself arrested.
What kind of community do you live in? How big a town?
About 150,000 citizens.
And how many police officers for 150,000 citizens?
350 to 400. I might add that at the time of the incident, I was not a police officer at that time. I had gotten laid off in 2003 and reinstated at the beginning of this year.
So you were a police officer. So these were people that you knew.
Not personally.
These were people that you knew and that knew that you were a police officer.
Yes.
Otherwise, you know what they would have said to you if they called up and said, I'm going to my ex-wife's house to get my cell phone back? They would have said to you, don't get us involved with this, Mr. Bosworth. You want your cell phone back, go to civil court. But because they were covering for you, they reported and took people away from important business to deal with your ego. Outrageous. Okay, so what happened when the police got there?
He had called me on the phone and was rude and belligerent, and I hung up the phone. That's why he got to my house so quickly, because he was upset that I hung up, because I was not going to tolerate him being disrespectful on the phone. When he got to my door, he rang the bell excessively. I would say 20 to 30 times. And when I got to the door, I slammed the door. I told him, you don't know what's going on. You need not to meddle. He never asked me what had occurred for me to remove the cell phone from my daughter. So at that point, I went back to baking as I was. I realized I needed some additional spices. I left, and Mr. Bosworth's outside, and he said, where are you going? The police are on their way. I looked at him and I said, you entertain them. I feel that I didn't do nothing wrong for the police to be at my home.
Absolutely right.
I got in my van and I proceeded to back up. The officer came and he acknowledged Mr. Bosworth. He said, hello, Boz. And my ex-husband said, she's about to pull out. The officer said, no, she's not. Pull that van forward. At that point, I complied. He put his cruiser behind my van. The officer got out, went to Mr. Bosworth, shook his hand. They gave a hug, and they started talking.
Put your hand down, sir.
I went right up to my daughter, Your Honor. She was outside as well. And I put my hand on her arm, and I said, come here. Having Daddy and the police here doesn't change the rules in there. Mr. Bosworth, that I heard him tell Officer get her away from her. My daughter at this point was crying uncontrollably. This girl, all she wanted was her cell phone, and his intention was to get it out of my hand and put it in her hand, undermine my authority. This is why my kids don't respect me.
Got it. At what point were you arrested?
I would say a half hour later. At this point, my daughter was crying. The officer kept on grabbing me, and I have photos, Your Honor, of what he did to my arm, his buddy. This is not from the shacks. This is actually from him holding me. And I kept on telling the officer, please let go, you're hurting me. And he kept on grabbing. I said, you're hurting me, let go, what's your problem? He got in my face and he said, get your effing in the house or I'm going to find many reasons to arrest you. So at this point, I said, let go, you're hurting me. And he kept on squeezing tighter. So I did go in the home. My daughter was pressed on time. She left crying uncontrollably with her boyfriend. Mr. Bosworth and this officer stayed in front of my house for a good 15 minutes. And I couldn't figure out why are they still there. And I went inside of the garage, Your Honor, to listen. And I heard Mr. Bosworth tell him how of a B I am of an ex-wife. And that mentally and physically I abused my children.
I want to know at what point you were arrested.
At this point, I decided to go in my backyard. I thought the matter was over. They were just talking. I was hoping to God that they just leave. And I was in the backyard. This officer opened my gate, and it's a 6-foot tall gate. And he came and he said, where's his phone? I said, I don't have his phone. This officer said, you're lying. At this point, the officer called me a liar, says, sir, I'm not comfortable with you because you know my ex-husband. I want a supervisor. My cordless phone was right there where I was on my deck. I got my cordless phone and I pressed 9 and I attempted to dial for supervisor. He came around, handcuffed me so quickly, I couldn't even tell you how he put the cuffs on me.
Listen, Miss Bosworth, why didn't you sue the police department?
My attorney told me to wait until the matter was over, and in June of this year, 06, it was over. I did file charges.
And the case was dismissed?
Yes. He never showed up in court, Your Honor.
Good thing. But is your attorney filing a lawsuit against the police department?
We are in the process.
That's exactly what you should do.
Yes.
Him too. Him too. Outrageous conduct, sir. Outrageous abuse of your power. Let me see the police report.
If you look at the police report, it was not my actions that caused her to get arrested.
Oh, listen to me, sir. Listen to me, sir. I know exactly what happened, sir. I want to see what the police officer wrote down in this police report. Not necessarily that I believe it. I just want to read it. Outrageous. Your conduct is outrageous, Mr. Bosworth. I'm amazed that you're a peace officer. Officers were dispatched to assist the subject in retrieving his cell phone.
And they know him.
Where is your daughter now, Miss Bosworth?
She's in college in Georgia.
Is this her first year in college?
Yes, ma'am.
Graduated from high school with reasonable grades?
3.2.
And she got the 3.2 living in your home?
Yes, ma'am.
Not living with her father?
No, ma'am.
I'm speaking. Not living with her father?
Never.
Who filled out her applications with her?
I did.
Not her father?
No.
Father gives her cell phones?
Oh, yeah.
The fact that your former husband exercised the poorest of judgment does not make your case actionable against him. The fact that he abused his power as a police officer, despite the fact that he had been a laid-off police officer, calling the police. And you lied to me, by the way, when you said you didn't know these officers. The police officer said that he knows you. Abused his power. That's also not actionable. He has the right to come over to your house. He also has the right to call the police. They have the right to hang up on him and say, go to civil court, as in their protocol for most things that have to do with property. They chose not to do that in this case. And in my view, that is actionable on your part, civilly, against the police department, not necessarily against him.
He instructed the officer to arrest me if I didn't give the cell phone. If I gave the cell phone, I would never got arrested.
I never instructed any police officer.
They told me down at the police station.
Your Honor.
Just a second, sir. You know, officer.
No, I do not personally.
Well, he says
we were partners.
The above, a male known to the officer.
All officers know each other's names, especially laid-off officers at that time.
Well, sir, what I'm saying to you is,
he knew I was a police officer, yes.
Very, very easy for you to resolve that, sir. You could have brought officer with you as a witness.
I tried to get both officers to come as a witness, and they both told me they didn't want anything to do with this woman.
I wouldn't either, because I got to tell you something.
As well as the witnesses that were there, her neighbors, they didn't want anything to do with this. They wrote statements. They showed me pictures of her past instances.
Your Honor.
Listen to me, sir.
May I ask?
Miss Bosworth, I want to tell you something.
Yes.
He did the wrong thing. I think that in 1,000 years, he never expected to come here today and be dressed down. Never expected to be dressed down, because nobody has told him he was wrong except you. And he doesn't believe you because he thinks you're nutty. I'm prepared to tell him that he's wrong, that he did absolutely absolutely 100% the wrong thing that day in July.
Thank you. May I add something, Your Honor?
No, it's not necessary.
It's important.
Okay.
My attorney tried to subpoena the 911 call. There was never a 911 call. He called Officer on his personal cell phone. He knows he has the section of my city. My attorney...
Just a second. Eventually, if this matter proceeds to a civil lawsuit against the city, which I assume it will, and I assume it should, they can't doctor 911 calls dating back to July.
Your Honor.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Was there a 911 call?
No, there was not. I called the police non-emergency line to ask for an assist to prevent a breach of the peace. Therefore, they determined which officer would show up.
Just a second. You called a non-emergency number that
Yes.
takes you right into the police station.
The dispatch
That
center,
takes
yes.
you right into the police station.
Yes.
I got it.
Not directly
I got it. I got it. Where is that number published?
in the yellow pages. Yellow pages of the phone book.
Not a 911 number, though.
No, ma'am.
No. So that peace officers know how to get in touch with that number, right?
Every citizen should know that.
No, I don't. We have a large audience here. I want you to raise your hands, please, if any of you know the non-emergency number to get to your local police precinct in order to have a car dispatched. Raise your hand. Look at this.
Ma'am, it's in the phone book.
Look, I don't care if it's in the phone book. You just said to me every citizen should know the number.
They should.
Look at these. These are intelligent people. I don't know the number, and you're not going to find anybody more intelligent than me when it comes to law enforcement, Mr. Boswell.
I believe you, Your Honor.
Case against him is dismissed. But I wish that I were the judge presiding over the case against the police department.
What about the mental anguish I suffered according
Listen, you picked him. You picked him. But your lawsuit is a valid one. He exercised poor judgment that day. Poor judgment is not compensated in this way. But the police department have a duty to act responsibly. They have a duty, and they acted not only irresponsibly, but there is no question that they responded to that location because of who he was, and they did absolutely the wrong thing. It was a non-violent situation when they were asked to come to help retrieve a cell phone, and I absolutely believe you when you say that the police officer came back and said to you, now I want the cell phone. That, sir, is a civil matter. Clear? Goodbye.
Is in a matter of Gill versus Johnson. Step forward, please.
Erin Gill is suing her former live-in boyfriend, Stephen Johnson, for a plasma TV he took from their home when he moved out. Stephen claims the TV was a gift from Erin.
Miss Gill, this gentleman used to be your boyfriend. You lived together for, 5, 6 months. Is that about right?
A little longer than that, but
And according to your complaint, when things didn't work out and you left, he agreed to keep the 42-inch plasma television set and make payments on it. It was bought on your credit. He kept the TV, he didn't make the payments, you want the payments made.
Correct.
The defendant says that things didn't work out, but as soon as you moved in together, you started purchasing things for the apartment, furniture, etc., all kinds of stuff. When he left with the clothes on his back and the TV, so you kept everything else and the TV's supposed to be his. Is that right, sir? That's your defense?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a truthful defense?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever agree to make payments on the TV?
No, ma'am.
When did you move in together, Mr. Johnson?
Approximately sometime last year, I believe, in the middle of the year.
June 2005.
And when did you separate?
January of 2006.
And whose apartment was it?
It was under Erin's name. She was on the lease.
You moved in together?
Correct.
When you moved into the apartment, where did you move from?
I moved from my residence that I had shared with my husband.
And you?
From one of my friend's houses.
So you came with no furniture?
No.
Did you come with furniture?
Yes.
What did you come with?
I came with couches, a television, tables. I purchased a bed shortly after moving into the residence, so.
What items do you say you purchased for the residence, Mr. Johnson?
Well, previously to that, I had 2 dresser drawers, a barbecue set, a couple scenic television portraits, another television that I bought in the apartment to furnish it.
Another TV?
Yes.
How large a TV?
It's a 19-inch television set.
How much did you pay for it?
Off the top of my head, approximately about $150.
And where was that, in the bedroom?
I believe it was her son's bedroom.
And you left that TV?
Yes.
And the dressers, drawers, and that stuff, those are not things that you purchased?
Earlier, but not jointly.
Okay. Now, when you left, did Miss Gill say you couldn't take any of these things with you?
No.
So you could have taken your little 19-inch TV, whatever dresser drawers that you left there, you could have taken it with you, right?
Yes.
Because although they probably weren't happy with each other, this was not a hostile separation, right?
It had the potential of being hostile, but
But it wasn't. Now, why, Mr. Johnson, would Miss Gill, who has a child, why would she make a gift to you of $3,700 for a television set?
basically, I left all the items in there, didn't retrieve them.
What?
The dressers.
You could have retrieved them. They were valueless.
I could have, but at that point in time, the relationship had become so dramatic, I just didn't want anything to do with her. And I just didn't want to go back. And when I left, basically with the clothes on my back,
And the one item of value, which was this $4,000 television set.
and she had asked me if I wanted to take the TV, and I told her yes. And I
And
took the
she
TV.
said, take the TV. And what you're telling me is she said, take the TV and I will pay for it?
No.
Well, who was supposed to pay for it?
When she asked me, I assumed it was going to be a gift.
You mean in this... Wait, listen. Ms. Johnson, so what you're telling me is in the midst of this hostile situation, because you used the word hostile.
I'm sorry.
You used the word hostile.
Yes.
You know, potentially hostile. You thought that she made you a $4,000 gift.
Well, along with all the stuff that I left in the apartment, I mean...
You left a lot of junk in the apartment, Mr. Johnson.
Maybe junk to you, but what was it to me?
Tell me what was there that you wanted. The 19-inch television set? That could have fit under one arm. She wasn't preventing you from taking it.
I could have also taken the dresser drawers and...
Well, you could have, but you took the $4,000 television set.
She asked me if I wanted it, so I'm not going to turn it down.
Go ahead.
I asked him if he wanted everything. I told him the date I was moving out of the apartment and told him if he did not pick up his belongings that were still at the residence, I would donate them to charity or drop them off at his parents' house, whatever worked for him, and he did not respond to me.
Tell me about the television set.
What would you like to know?
I want to know, what arrangement did you make for him to pay the television set?
We went into Paul's TV, which he researched and found that they had the best prices on televisions.
No, it's purchased.
It's purchased.
Already.
Okay.
Purchased on your credit card.
Right. So we buy the TV. We're in there. It was originally going to be in Steve's name, and there came up some issues with his credit. So
I heard that already.
Okay.
I want to know when you were exiting, the exit strategy with regard to the TV.
When he left?
Yes.
When he did leave, he left with just his clothes. We had a few phone conversations, and he came to get the rest of his clothing and other miscellaneous belongings. And at that point, we had a conversation about the TV. And I said, would you like to take the TV and you can pay for it, or I'll keep the TV and pay for it? He said he'll take it and pay for it, and never did.
That sounds right. Nobody's going to make you a gift of $3,700. Is that what you owe on the TV?
It's $37.26.
Can I see it, please?
And here's the payoff statement as of yesterday from Wells Fargo.
Well, the total price was $37.26. You mean nobody paid for it?
No, he's been receiving monthly bills at his parents' house, and he hasn't made any payments.
So you had this TV for 6 months and nobody paid for it?
It was a no interest, no payments for, I believe, 1 or 2 years.
It was a special promotion they were running. It's
Yeah.
No money down, no interest, no payments. I don't believe the year has passed by. That's why there's no money due yet.
Well, that's not the issue. The issue is, at this point, you have said that you have no intention of paying this. Is that right?
Completely. Yes.
Okay. $37.26, judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Now, it's case number 392 on the calendar in the matter of McLaughlin Browning versus Moreland Cooper.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Okay. According to the complaint, you rented a house from the defendants. You gave them a deposit in order to move in. You moved in. You said the house was in deplorable condition. You want your deposit back. You want hotel stay and punitive damages for filing false charges against you with Child Protective Services. The defendants say that you owe them for rent and something that you stole when you left, right?
Yes.
That's what the case is about. Okay. You have children together?
No.
You have children who lived in the house?
Yes.
How many?
2, my daughter Michaela, who's 5 now, and her son Austin, who's 6.
And how long have the two of you been together?
We've been together a year.
Okay. Where were you living before you rented the house from the defendants?
Back in January, I bought a house with my ex-wife, and she filed for divorce about 2 or 3 days after we actually signed for the house. So I had to move out by March 1st so I could get into a house with Rachel, because I knew Rachel from high school. So
I mean, are you a couple, or are you just sharing a house?
we're a couple.
Okay.
We actually got married January 4th of this year.
Okay, so you had to get out fast of your living situation. Did you answer an ad for the defendant's house?
No, we actually were driving around trying to find something. We know I don't have great credit.
Listen, you drove around. Was there a for rent sign?
Yeah, there was a front race sign.
And you
in the
called?
front. I called the number. And
In
I called
what
the
month?
Middle of March. We called about the first 2 weeks of March. And she told me that they had a house for rent, that they had to fix it up a little bit, and that we could look at it the next day. When we met them the next day, I looked at it.
And?
It was pretty bad. They had like 3 or 4, maybe 2 or 3 couches in the living room with a bunch of tables, and it was just everywhere. There's stuff everywhere, every room. And he said he'd have it done by the 1st of April. And then he told us the deposit was $1,850, which is the first month's rent, which is $950 plus $900. And he'll have everything done by the 1st. And I told him that I have a 401k check coming in, my thing from work, and it was $1,300. And then I was going to borrow the money from my grandparents and my
Listen,
mom.
that's a little too much information for me. You saw the house. It was in deplorable condition. You said you wanted the house as of when?
As of April 1st.
Did you sign a lease?
We did sign a lease. And,
I'd like to see it.
This is the original copy of it.
signed a lease that provided that you were going to move in on April the 3rd for 6 months. Okay. Did you move in on April the 3rd?
No, he kept saying he had no electricity, he had no water in the house. So we turned on the electricity at the end of March so he could get the paint done in my name. And he had no water in the house. He owed $300 or $400 for the water, so he had to pay that off so he could get the water running. And then he never had anybody come up there to fix it.
Listen to me. When did you move in?
May 3rd.
You moved in a month late.
A month late. My parents came up from New York, and
I don't care if your parents came up from New York, sir. I have some specific questions. May 3rd you moved in, right?
Yes.
And you gave them the money when?
April 10th, because I gave him $900 before April 3rd, and then we gave him the rest of the money when my parents came up. And I got pictures of the house, the way it looked before he actually fixed it.
I don't care what it looked like before he fixed it. That's irrelevant to me. And when did you move out of the house?
First week of September, because he had a deposit and I was going through divorce and I had a lot of bills I had to pay.
I don't care. So you had to give him first and last.
I got him deposit and first month's rent.
So the deposit was for any damage that might be done and first month's rent.
Yes.
So you owed him rent in June.
Yes.
Did you pay him?
No.
Why not?
He never came to fix our house. My daughter's room had no carpet.
Just a second. Was there carpet before you moved in?
No, not my daughter's room.
Is there anything in the lease that provides that he has to provide for carpet?
It has to be livable.
No. Not everybody likes carpet, sir. Is there anything in this lease that provides that he has to provide carpet?
I'm pretty sure it does say something. And
Show me. I don't want to have to read the whole thing. Take a look. Show me where it says that your daughter's room has to be carpeted.
It says something about the conditions of the premises, including all grounds and buildings and improvements, unless they...
Listen to me. The word carpet.
I don't see carpet in here.
So the lease does not provide for carpet.
No.
Okay. So you didn't pay him for June. Your daughter's room had no carpet.
And her son's room had really old carpet. He said he was going to change in there. It was like shag carpet, and the whole house was completely destroyed.
Listen to me. You moved into it.
Yes.
If it wasn't ready, don't move in. So you moved in and you didn't pay June's rent.
Yes.
Did you pay July's rent?
No. We had no...
Okay. Don't go there, sir.
Sorry.
I don't want to hear, you're fetching and complaining. You moved your family in, and as soon as you moved in, you stopped paying rent. Because that's what happened. I mean, that's the objective data.
Yeah.
You moved in and you stopped paying rent. No June, no July, no August.
Yes.
And what were you doing with the rent money?
I was putting it toward my bills that I had for my divorce. I had a car that was 2 months behind, and like that. And we had a problem with her insurance and stuff at work, but the house was not livable. My dad...
Listen to me. If the house isn't livable, you move out. If it's not livable, you don't move in. And if it's not livable, you move out. You don't scam the landlord by moving in and saying, now I'm here. Now you can't get me out.
But I have nowhere to live.
That's not his problem. Does he relate to you by blood?
No.
Who cares if you have nowhere to live? Go live with a relative. Go live with your mother. Go live with your father. Go live with your sister. Go live with your brother. But don't move into a stranger's house and say, no, I'm not going to pay rent because I got bills for my divorce.
I mean, we gave him $1,800 for the month. He never came and fixed it.
Just a second.
Okay.
I gave you credit for May's rent. Because he wouldn't have let you move in unless you gave him the 2 months.
Yeah.
Right? So you gave him the 2 months and then you stopped paying him. Outrageous. I mean, you're a squatter. And it's an old scam. You got yourself in, you move yourself in, you say, listen, it's going to take the courts 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get me out. By that time, they're just going to be so happy to get rid of me that they'll just say, go, forget it. And then you move on to some other unsuspecting landlord. Outrageous. You get me?
I get you.
Good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
And you responded because you got a call about what?
We had a complaint on some photographs containing images of the adults with their children in pornographic poses.
And later today,
What would be his last living act if you found him doing a wee-wee dance on the hood of your car?
Oh, well, he'd be beat to a post.
That's why you didn't dance on his car.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. David McLaughlin and Rachel Browning say former landlords Michael Moreland and Janae Cooper owe for the return of a deposit and for false charges made to police. The defendants are countersuing for rent.
If you don't like an apartment, if you don't like a house, you don't move in. Does that sound right to you? You're the police officer, is that right?
Sounds right, Judge.
Right? Nobody's twisting your arm. You don't like the shag carpet? Don't move in. Doesn't mean that much to you. You move in. You want carpet in your daughter's room? Go to Home Depot. Now, the second part of your complaint is that they called Child Protective Services on you.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Your Honor, we never called Child Protective Services.
Just a second.
They called the police.
Can I ask quite the question, please? Did they call Child Protective Services?
The police did. once the police came out.
So they called the police.
Yes.
Mr. Moreland,
Yes, Your Honor.
did you call the police?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me why. Or what month did you call the police?
August or June, somewhere around there.
Well, August and June are 2 different months. Officer,
I'm not sure, Your
Officer,
Honor.
could you stand up, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you move over there? I know you're not a plaintiff's witness,
Certainly.
but you responded to the location where Mr. McLaughlin and Miss Browning were living.
Yes, I did.
You remember when that was, sir?
It's on June 25th.
And you responded because you got a call about what, sir?
We had a complaint on some photographs containing images of the adults with their children in pornographic poses.
And when you responded to the location, did you find anything?
No, ma'am, we did not. Not anything that related to the complaint.
Okay. Can you describe what you saw when you got to the premises?
When I arrived at the premises, I went inside the residence. The residence was in a messy state. There were boxes every place. It appeared as if somebody was moving out. Some trash, not anything that would be deplorable to live in, but it just appeared to be unorganized and a lot of boxes and packing going on.
But you found nothing untoward.
No.
Were you responsible for calling Child Protective Services?
No, ma'am.
Do you know who did?
More than likely, any reports that we take involving children in a case such as this gets forwarded to CPS automatically.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me, sir?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. You can have a seat. Okay. What made either one of you believe that there were photographs in there involving children?
There was, Your Honor. I haven't heard from McLaughlin for several months, and he didn't pay me for about 5 months, and he changed the locks on the premises, which on the lease it states here that if you don't pay rent or if you change the locks, I have the right to enter the premises.
Okay.
So I enter the home, and I see in the living room there's mattresses laying on the floor, 5 to 7 digital cameras laying around.
Did you,
Pictures.
sir, officer, one more thing. When you went into the premises, did you see any mattresses on the floor?
Ma'am, I don't recall if there are any mattresses on the floor. I do remember the complaint of the video cameras. Mr. Moreland believed that there was some type of filming possibly going on involving the children in their rooms. When I responded, I checked on that complaint. I looked at the cameras that were there. There was nothing that
What kind of
appeared to be-
cameras, sir? Still cameras, movie cameras?
There are several different kinds. Still cameras, some video recorders, camcorders, but
How
nothing.
many would you say?
Approximately 5 to 7, but they were in broken states. They didn't work. They were not set up on stands. I didn't see any evidence of any type of
Okay.
recording.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you take pictures of what you saw?
Yes, Your Honor, right next to the child's bed. There was an open box of two open boxes, and he also had plenty of time before the police entered the property to dispose of what I seen.
Don't tell me, that's supposition.
If I like to add some.
These were taken the day that you called the police? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. Officer, would you step up, please?
Yes, ma'am.
This be a fair and accurate representation of the condition of the house when you saw it.
Yes, that does appear to be taken in June.
Thank you. Mr. Moreland was perfectly right to pick up the phone and call the police and have them come to at least look into what was going on in that house. You moved in, according to you, on May the 3rd. This house looks like a disaster area, an absolute disaster area. And I'm not even addressing the pornographic material that's there, which, by the way, you acknowledge that you had in the house, but you say it was, in fact, put away so that the children couldn't reach it. Well, somebody reached it. It may have even been Mr. Moreland, but somebody reached it. I'm not even addressing the pornographic stuff that involved what appeared to be young children, which is weird. I'm talking about the condition of the house. The condition of the house would lead a normal person to believe that something wasn't right there. So he had an absolute right to call the police, and the police had an absolute responsibility to call Child Protective Services. So your complaint is dismissed. Now let's get to your counterclaim. You're suing for the rent for the
Yes,
time
Your
that they lived there. Rent was how much a month?
$9.50.
When did they move out?
They actually moved out in October. They did not move out in June.
June, July, August, September, October. 5 months. $4,750. Listen, they're scammers.
I know you're...
Period. Squatters and scammers. And based upon the photographs that I saw, not very responsible parents either. Now, you don't mind my not going into this grill that they allegedly took? I don't care about a grill. They owe you for rent. And how much did it cost you, Mr. Moreland and Miss Cooper, to get them out? Or did they just move?
They eventually just moved, but trying to fix up the house after they left, we had to end up filing a bankruptcy because of the mortgage and everything else wasn't paid. And that cost us $4,200 just to file that.
So you see, when you have a problem with your ex-wife and bills that built up during the divorce, and you go to scam somebody else, what happens is they get hurt. It's a trickle-down effect because they didn't have money to pay the mortgage because you didn't pay the rent and you refused to move out of the house. Perfect strangers had trouble. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, both of you. And I certainly think Child Protective Services should give another look to where you're living now. Where are you living now?
Decatur Township.
You know where that is, sir?
I do, ma'am.
Good. Judgment for the defendant on the counterclaim in the amount of $4,700. Claim is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused when they step out.
I was so fed up with them.
Just broke in our house, went through everything.
And it made me sick to my stomach that someone like that lived in my neighborhood.
He's just trying to get us kicked out as soon as he can so he can scam someone else. So
I really hope CPS looks into it further.
If he don't stop, I would love to smack his...
Thanks a lot, Judge Judy, for listening to us and really seeing what happened.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Harris versus Bianco. Step forward.
Christopher Harris and his son, 13-year-old Darwan Pallone, are suing 13-year-old Dre Collins and his mother, Stephanie Bianco, for the cost of a windshield. Darwan claims Dre was dancing on top of the car.
Mr. Harris, when I walked out into the courtroom and I saw the people who were here, I had to smile. Because when you submit your complaint and your answer to the court, sometimes we see a mental image of what the people in the case look like. And I pictured very little boys, you know, who were playing around in the backyard and decided to jump up on somebody's car and do a dance, you know?
Right.
Because that's what this case is about. You claim that this young man jumped on the hood or the roof of your car doing a stupid dance and cracked the windshield.
Right.
Your defense is you're not sure he's responsible for the windshield being cracked, even though he admits that he was dancing on the car, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm sort of apologizing to you, because I had this mental image that I was going to come out here, Mr. Harris, and yell at you and say, listen, these little kids, you know, 3, 4 years old, jumping on the top of a car, you should have been there to supervise them. And then I come out and I see this person who looks like he's old enough to be in the military. Right? Bigger than his mother. And I say to myself, what would prompt somebody of your size and girth to jump up on top of somebody else's car and dance? Speak!
I don't know. We were just having fun, messing around.
I'm not interested in what was in anybody else's mind, sir. I want to know what was in your alleged mind.
No, we're just having fun.
So you were having fun?
Yeah.
Try yes.
Yes.
Who was this?
Stepdad.
Does he have a car?
Yes.
When was the last time you had fun on his car?
Never.
Never. I wouldn't have fun on his car. Let me ask you a question, sir. Could you stand up for a moment, please? Your last name is?
Elmore.
What would be his last living act if you found him doing a wee-wee dance on the hood of your car?
Oh, well, he'd be beat to a post.
That's why you didn't dance on his car.
Yeah.
And you know, your mother's a lot shorter than you are, right? She probably weighs a little less than you do. You wouldn't jump on her car and do a little dance to make you happy, would you?
No.
Because as big as you are and as little as she is, she'll kill you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Damaging other people's property isn't having fun. So his windshield on his car was cracked, and whether you did it or one of your idiot friends did it, I don't care. You pay for it. You got it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Can I see a bill for the windshield, please? How many other idiots were on the roof dancing?
One. Just me.
One other.
One other. Yeah.
One other?
Idiot.
Who was the other idiot?
Marcel.
Who's Marcel?
No. Sorry about that. Hey, I'm not standing. I'm sorry about
Listen.
that.
You know what you should, first of all, you would have been able to contain yourself if your shirt was tucked in.
I'm sorry.
Good. Now you can stand up quietly, orderly. Aren't you sorry you didn't tuck your shirt in? No, you didn't. Don't do it now. Were you dancing on the roof?
No.
Good. Sit down. He's too thin to break the windshield on the car. You owe him an apology.
Sorry.
$199 judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
That's case number 342 on the calendar in the matter of Huff versus Veloff.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Ms. Huff, the defendant is your soon-to-be ex-son-in-law. I assume this is your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your claim that he owes you money for bail.
Yes, ma'am.
And that he agreed to pay you back once you had bailed him out, and he has declined to do so. Mr. Veloff says you made no agreement with him with regard to the bail money. You made an agreement with his wife. So if you want the bail money paid, get it from your daughter. That's your defense?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Veloff, how long have you been married?
13 years, 14 years.
13 or 14 years.
13.
You have children?
Yes. 2.
How many?
2.
When were you arrested, sir?
It was filed on July 4th, but I actually turned myself in on that Sunday, which would have been, I think, the 6th, 7th? Of July, I'm sorry.
7/7 of 06?
Yes.
Is this the first time you had been arrested, sir?
Yes.
And this was for domestic violence?
Yes.
And the domestic violence alleged that you either assaulted or threatened or harassed your wife?
Right.
Were you in or out of the house on the 7th of July?
In the house.
No. Okay. Mrs. Veloff, when did you complain about your husband's conduct to the police?
The incident of 4th of July.
Tell me about the incident.
We have been having marital problems for quite a while, and a recurring situation came up again that he was not working and taking care of his responsibilities. It escalated into a yelling argument that turned physical. Shortly after, well, the argument went on for quite a while. He was restraining me. I was not allowed. I was undressed coming out of the shower. He wouldn't allow me to get dressed. He wouldn't allow me to leave the master bedroom. Finally, when I did get out of the bedroom, I made it down to the lowest floor of the house, got a phone, and dialed 911. While I was on the phone with the dispatcher, he left the property. While he was gone, they dispatched 2 sheriff's vehicles to the house. They took my statement, took photos.
Do you have a copy of the statement, please? Do you have a copy of that police report?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay. They took photographs of what?
They took photographs of the marks on my body and the damage to the home.
What kind of marks did you have on your body?
My arms were bruised, where he had grabbed me and forcibly threw me on the bed. My neck was irritated and red.
Your Honor, I do have a copy of the charges.
I'd like to see them. Where were your children when all this was going on?
There was a 4th of July community picnic that my daughter was at, and my son was outside playing basketball with a friend of his. I believe, well, he was in the driveway. I think they were playing basketball.
How old are your children?
14 and 12.
What's the status of this protective order?
The restraining order?
Yeah, what's the status of the case?
The case was dismissed.
When was the case dismissed?
It went to trial while my mother and I were in Italy for 2 weeks. It was dismissed because I did not show to testify.
Why didn't you appear to testify?
I was in Italy.
Why did you go to Italy during the trial?
It was already pre-planned, the trip. All of the subpoenas for me to appear were in my mail when I got back.
Your Honor, this was a 2-week Mediterranean cruise. We had planned 7 months prior to take all the kids and grandkids, everybody.
Got it. But, Ms. Veloff, after he was arrested, because he turned himself in, according to your mother's complaint, he called you and asked you to bail him out, right?
Yes.
How much was your bail?
$2,000.
And why did you think your wife would bail you out when she was the one who filed the complaint?
Well, I called her because it was starting getting really rough in the jail, and I've never experienced anything like that. And I called her.
How rough was it?
They found knives, shanks.
So you wanted out of there?
Yeah, and it was Wednesday night. The other inmates were starting to get their commissary or whatever they buy for the week, and a lot of it was like cold medicine, and they were chopping it up and snorting it, and I could see attitudes change, and it started getting really scary.
So you were frightened?
Yes.
So you called your wife?
Yes, I did.
And what did you say to her?
I asked her to call my dad to see if he would bail me out.
Why didn't you call your dad?
Why didn't I call my dad?
That's exactly what I said. Why didn't you call your dad? Why are you calling the alleged victim instead of calling your father directly? Don't you speak to him?
Yes, I do.
So then why didn't you call your father yourself?
The phone calls I was able to make were very limited.
Well, I understand they're very limited. I've been in the justice system a very long time. There's no reason that you're going to be able to give me that I'm going to be satisfied with, sir, as to why you didn't call your father yourself.
I don't know.
Ma'am?
Maybe your wife is going to tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you call his father?
First of all, he called the house and spoke to our son, who then called me. So by the time I got the phone call, our son was frantic with worry, thinking that his father was in mortal jeopardy.
Okay.
And then I did go and call his father, and his father said no.
That's why you didn't call him.
No, that's not true.
Otherwise, sir, you know, if something doesn't make sense, it's usually not true. How old is your son?
14.
Before I would involve my 14-year-old son in the fact that I was incarcerated and I was frightened for my life, I would call my father. If I had a decent relationship with my father and if I felt that my father would want to protect me, I certainly wouldn't involve my teenage child. That's not being a protective parent.
I did not know he was going to answer the phone.
What kind of just a second. What kind of dumb answer is that? What kind of a dumb answer? So because he answered the phone, you unloaded on him?
I didn't unload.
Well, of course you did. Okay. So now you're between a rock and a hard place. You got your 14-year-old child saying you got to do something to get dad out of jail. You got his father who says, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not putting up any money for him. You don't have any money, so you call your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you say, you got to help me out here. You got to help me out. And she goes down and she puts up the bond. That's so far what happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you got out of jail, Mr. Veloff, who was there?
Who was there? My kids, my wife, and my mother-in-law.
And what did you say to your mother-in-law?
Thank you.
What else did you say to her? What else did he say?
He was in tears and he hugged me and he thanked me, and I told him two things. One, he had to get his act together, and two, because he didn't have a job, he had to pay me back, and he owned 2 cars, which he'd already told Tracy he would do. I expected him to sell one of the 2 cars.
To pay you back?
To pay me back
Just
for my
a second.
credit card. I'm sorry.
And did he pay you back?
No, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If she didn't have grandchildren, that's probably what she would have said to her daughter. Let him stay there, because as far as she was concerned, you could have rotted in hell.
And later today,
Doesn't like the camera.
Probably not. Felix.
Feisty little thing.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Dora Huff claims a strange son-in-law, Paul Veloff, owes for bail money she posted on his behalf.
Why should your mother-in-law pay your bail?
I didn't ask her to.
No, you didn't ask her to. That's absolutely right, Mr. Veloff. You did not ask her to. But you promised to pay her back. But you promised to pay her back. You didn't ask her to, and absolutely, if you hadn't said to her, I'm going to pay you back, that unfortunately for Miss Huff, there would have been no recourse. The truth of the matter is, at the time that she put up the bail for her daughter and her grandchildren. Because as far as she was concerned, you could have rotted in hell. I'm sure. If she didn't have grandchildren, that's probably what she would have said to her daughter. Let him stay there. But she has grandchildren, and you can't do that when you have teenage grandchildren. You can't say, listen, you're going to let your father rot in jail, so he's going to call here and he's going to complain that somebody's going to shank him. Mr. Veloff, as you see, sir, I have zero sympathy for your position morally, and I have zero sympathy for your position legally. If you had not told your mother-in-law that you would pay her back.
I promised to get my act together and get a job.
Just a second. Did you get your act together?
Yes.
Did you get a job?
Yes.
Good. Now you have money to pay her back. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,020. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
We went to marriage counseling, and everything was going wonderful.
It's over.
Don't know what happened after that.
The marriage is over.
Part, go our own ways, and, hopefully, no hard feelings.
I will never be hit again.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of DeCarlos versus Yaffe, step forward, please.
23-year-old Anthony DeCarlos is suing vet technician Sharon Yaffe for failing to return his miniature pinscher, Phoenix.
Mr. DeCarlos, you are suing Miss Jaffe because you claim that because of her actions, your pet was neutered.
Yes, ma'am.
Without your permission. And she caused you a great deal of stress when she refused to divulge the name of the people who she had given the dog to when your dog turned up astray and missing. What I gather from your complaint is you were not at home. The puppy was at home with friends of yours or roommates.
Roommates.
And they negligently allowed the puppy to escape the house.
Yes,
How old was the puppy at the time?
8 months.
And how many people were supposed to be watching him?
Just one of my roommates was at home at the time.
And how did he let the dog out?
He was going to India for a trip, and he was putting up a mailbox. We have 2 doors, and my dog got out because he left the top door open and the bottom door, and he got out while he was doing that.
So he was negligent?
Yes.
On what date did he run away from your house?
On the 25th of June.
And how long had you had the puppy at the time?
I'd had him for probably like 4 months.
Where did you get him from?
A breeder.
And how much did you pay for him?
Like $300.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Mr. DeCarlos?
Sorry. Yes.
Paid $300. Did you get papers for him?
Yes, ma'am. I have
Like-
papers.
He's a miniature pinscher.
Yes.
I had one of those when I was a child. Okay, so June 25th, the puppy escapes. What did you do to find him?
Well, when I found out, I was at the library when this happened. I came home and found that my dog was gone. And so I was like, oh my God, what happened? So I went, immediately put up flyers to find my dog around my block and everything like that. And my roommate did help me, so he did feel bad, but I can't blame him, So we
Look, stop talking too fast. Oh. Doesn't like the camera.
Probably not.
That's okay.
Phoenix.
Feisty little thing. Anyway, so you put up flyers. What else did you do?
I would put up flyers.
What else did you do?
I called.
Who did you call?
Someone that found my dog responded to the flyers, and they contacted me and let me know where they had taken my dog to.
Okay, so you yourself did not call the animal rescue, animal control.
Oh, I called. I visited numerous animal shelters around where I live, and I called like the animal control like where I live because I would figure like he'd be around in my area, but that wasn't the case at all.
So somebody saw the flyer with the dog's picture and called you.
Yes, ma'am.
On what date was that?
I'm not sure of the day exactly.
Well, it becomes important in this scenario.
Okay, it was probably like 2 to 3 weeks later, after the 25th.
3 weeks later?
Yes.
So we're now mid-July?
Yes.
Okay, and the person who called you, just for the purpose of this, said that your dog was injured?
Right, they had told me that he had been clipped by a car, and he was fine. Like by the time they took him to the animal hospital, like he was walking and he was fine. And they told me that they had admitted him and they gave him to a nurse, and she took him home. And then they gave me the number of the place, so I called, and she definitely agreed. She said I took him home and I cared for him or whatever, and then she gave him to Sharon Yaffe.
Okay. He's really not happy. Why don't you take him out, okay?
No, sir. Okay.
Got a heart of a lion, that little guy. So the person at the animal shelter, they took care of your pet who had been injured.
Yes, ma'am.
And somebody was wonderful enough to take him home, nurse him back to health, and then turned him over to the defendant.
Yes.
Miss Yaffe, you work for the shelter?
I work for a shelter.
And who was it that gave you the puppy?
A co-worker of mine who was working at the animal hospital when the animal was delivered.
On what date did you take custody of him?
July 3rd, which would have been a Monday morning.
Okay, go ahead.
The prior weekend, the co-worker at my weekend job, which is an emergency animal hospital, advised she had been recuperating a dog at home for 10 to 14 days, wanted to know if I would be able to find it a home. And I told her, if it's something small with a nice disposition, nothing that bites, I can always find something small a home. I did have a friend of mine who has a geriatric miniature pinscher, and that would have been my first outlet for the dog. I picked the dog up that morning from the animal hospital, which would have been Monday morning. The animal had already been neutered.
The animal had been neutered at the animal hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
So before you took custody of the animal, it was neutered?
Correct.
Go ahead.
I picked the dog up. I called my friend and let him know what I had. He contacted his wife. He has a daughter at home who's like 10 years old, and they said they would try the dog out. So the gentleman came and picked the animal up from me that same day.
Okay. When did Mr. DeCarlos contact you?
Friday, which would have been July 7th, I believe.
And he described the dog?
Yes.
And when did he get the dog back?
I'm not sure of the exact day.
When did you get the dog back, sir?
I'm not sure of the exact day either.
It was in July.
Yeah, I had to get a lawyer to actually get my dog back from her. I even offered, when I spoke with her, I was like, I will pay, these people, I'll buy them a new dog. I just want my dog back. That's all that I really cared about. And she was like, no, I'm not gonna, I don't want to make these people unhappy and this, that, and the other. But I'm like, it's my dog. I came forward. It's my dog. And on top of everything, Your Honor, she lied. She was lying to me about everything.
I never lied.
Your Honor, she told me that the dog was in the facility when it was not. And I have documentation from her job right here that says that they did an investigation on her and they found her guilty of everything.
Well, let me see what you have. Miss Yaffe, you did not make the dog available to the plaintiff when he called you. You want to tell me why?
The animal had been in the home already.
4 days.
4 days. And I was really apprehensive about contacting the people and letting them know that an owner had come forward for the animal. They've got a 10-year-old daughter. I knew the dog was in a good home, good responsible home.
Okay. You made a misjudgment.
In hindsight, yes.
You made a misjudgment. Okay. I see Mr. DeCarlo said what this says is that they conducted an investigation to determine whether or not Ms. Yaffe's actions were within departmental guidelines of the animal control. And it says that the actions of the employees were not within our best policy nor our best practice of the police department and animal control facility, and your complaint has been sustained. Okay. So you should have gotten your dog back.
Yes.
So?
I did get my dog back. Well, the reason why I'm suing is because my dog was neutered.
That's not her problem. That's your roommate's problem. That's not her problem. Nobody did anything to intentionally inflict injury on your puppy. Nobody. What happens is when an animal, I assume that something must have happened to the puppy's tags, and or chip, which you should have had on the puppy so that the puppy could have been
Yes, ma'am.
easily identifiable.
Yes, ma'am.
And that wasn't there. Am I right, Mr. DeCarlos?
Yes, ma'am, you're right.
Okay, so if you had had a chip inserted in the puppy, which everybody recommends now,
Yes.
or you had a collar with your telephone number and way to contact you, we wouldn't be here today. So that's your fault. It's not her fault that your dog was neutered. She didn't neuter the dog.
Right, but she knew it was taking place, like she knew about it.
So what? Not every grievance, Mr. DeCarlos, is a lawsuit. Now, I agree with you that the defendant, and she acknowledges in hindsight, she should have turned the dog back over to you. It was a mistake on her part. She can't say, well, they've come attached to the dog in 4 days and I don't feel comfortable about calling, and say you have to return the dog to its rightful owner. But she's not responsible for the fact that your dog was neutered.
So should I sue the animal hospital that they have no documentation or?
Absolutely not. You shouldn't sue anybody. You should take your dog home and teach him not to growl. You got your dog back in one piece, and the fact that he's neutered, what difference does it make?
Well, I was planning on breeding him.
Plan something else. Your own negligence in failing to have proper identification on the dog caused the dog to go into a shelter without any known information. That's your negligence, so go sue yourself. Your case against the defendant is dismissed. Goodbye.
Yes, case number 333 on the calendar in the matter of Huntley versus Huntley.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Miss Huntley, the defendant is your former boyfriend. You've been together for quite some time, I assume, and you have one child together.
Yes.
Your complaint is that when you broke up, Mr. Huntley agreed that he would take over half of the credit card debt. He made a couple of payments and then stopped. You also claimed that he used a car that belonged to you and caused some damage to the car and vandalism to the car. You wanted to take care of that. Mr. Huntley said he walked out of the house, leaving you in the house with your child. How old is your child?
My son is 7.5.
And he left with his clothes, and that's it. Everything that was purchased on that credit card remained in the house, and he doesn't see why in the world he should pay for it.
Yes.
And with regard to the car, his defense is that any vandalism that was done to the car was paid out by your insurance from an act of vandalism that had nothing to do with him, and you chose not to have the car fixed, but to pocket the insurance money, and therefore he's not paying for it because you already got paid for it, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Good. You lived together from when to when?
February of 2003 until October 8th of 2006.
When and why did you leave, Mr. Huntley?
The relationship just didn't work out. It was an agreed upon thing. It wasn't like I just stormed out. I mean, both of
Okay,
us
so you
were
agree, so it
unhappy.
was a civilized, orderly
Yes.
arrangement.
We were both unhappy.
What arrangement did you make, Mr. Huntley, with regard to the debt?
I had been paying pretty much all of the, I had a full-time job and I was going to school, making financial aid and some scholarships, and that was all going to bills while she was only going to school. For about 4 years. When I left, I was still paying the credit card bills, but it didn't take a long time to figure out that what was going on was it was an attempt to make sure I didn't have enough money to survive, and I couldn't. Right now, she's living in a 2-bedroom house with hardwood floors, with 2 cars in the driveway. She's got a college degree. I think she's had a job for a little while. I'm sleeping on my dad's couch.
The credit card bills were how much?
We have $38,000 in credit card debt over the course of our 3-year relationship. He'd been paying half the payment on all of the 5 cards, and I had also been paying half a payment on a card that is only in his name, on not my name at all. Our credit cards have both of our names. We're both joint signers on these cards. We just made the arrangement that, hey, you would pay half and I would pay half the minimum payment, and that went on until September. And in September, he told me, I need to save for my own place. I have a new girlfriend, or October, I have a new girlfriend. I just bought a new truck after I lost $1,500 selling our truck that was in joint of our names. And I don't have the money to pay for you. Pay it. So you're just going to have to deal with it yourself. It's not my problem.
Well, you have to deal with it, and he has to deal with it, because if they're joint credit cards, they're going to come after both of you.
Absolutely.
So, what are you doing in court? Here.
He won't pay the credit card.
They're going to come after him. They'll attach your salary, they'll attach his salary.
Well, Your Honor, I have a credit score of 760. His credit score is now 720, but when we met, it was in the 500s and mine was in the 700s. And
Miss Huntley, how many years since 2003 were you employed?
None of those years was I legally employed.
Well, you're not going to stand here in court and tell me you were illegally employed.
I went to school and I had scholarship funds. I had 8 different scholarships, of which I got about $2,800 a month take home cash.
That you don't have to pay back?
I do have loans. I have student loans.
Of course you do.
Some
So
of that
the
I do
answer
not
is
have to pay back.
the answer is you did not work. He worked. He provided for the household while you were living together. You have to remember, folks, you're not married. We don't have courts in this country for almost marrieds living together, trying it out. We don't have courts for that. If this was a marital situation, I would have no problem. I would say, listen, you have credit card debt, you're responsible for half, and you're responsible for half. That's it. Goodbye and good luck. But that's not the case. The truth of the matter is that if you have $38,000 worth of credit card debt from 2003 in February until 2006 in October, he paid the credit cards.
No, he didn't. He was unemployed for 6 months of that time straight.
Well, you
And we
were
lived
unemployed
off
for
of
4
credit
years.
cards.
Somebody had to pay for
But
these
I wasn't
cars.
unemployed. I brought home $2,800 a month every month,
What'd you do
except
with it?
for July and August.
What did you do with it?
I paid as many bills as he did. Car payments, credit card payments, food, clothing.
Well, you know
all
something.
kinds of stuff.
It's very, very interesting, Miss Huntley. I have no idea how you did that because I educated a whole bunch of kids, and nobody ever gave them $2,800 a month in cash in addition to what they were getting. So you got some kind of gig going here that probably the rest of the civilized world would like to know about.
I have a 3.8 GPA, and I'm an engineering student, and I volunteer 170 hours a year.
Fabulous. What do you want me to do? You want me to say to him what you should do is pay half the bills?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'll say to him what you do should be half the bills. Be nice if you paid half the bills. That's a moral judgment. These bills are in both of your names, and eventually the credit card companies who have advanced to you foolishly $38,000 in credit card expenses are going to come after both of you for the return of this money.
Your Honor, I'm making the payments because I understand how important credit is. I would like to go on with my life.
And
I'm making the payments regardless of whether he is.
Don't you, Mr. Huntley?
I do, but I only have so much money, and it's getting to the point where I have to choose.
Are you paying child support?
Yes.
No.
Oh, interesting.
No, he has not paid child support, and he has not made a payment on any credit cards since August.
Requested to make child support payments 2 weeks ago by the state.
Mr. Huntley, requested by whom?
The state.
The state, because he wouldn't pay it.
I was never asked to pay it.
Just a second.
I've been paying all these other bills.
Listen, you may be angry. You may be angry. I don't know what you're angry about. I don't know. The truth of the matter is I really don't know what you're angry about. I was going to jump down his throat when he said I was never asked to pay it, because that's not an answer when you have a child. You're supposed to pay child support. You don't have to be asked by anybody to pay child support. Child has to eat. Both parents are responsible for that. How much are you paying in child support?
$200 a month right now.
$200 a month is not a lot of money, Mr. Huntley.
No, it's not. At the time when I was requested to make child support payments, my paychecks are $800 or $900, and she asked for $600 or $700 every 2 weeks for bills.
Well, you can't do that and pay child support.
I can't do that and
I
pay
haven't
child
asked for
support.
child support until he stopped paying on the bills.
Oh, well, but just a second. But then you did.
I only want what's fair. I
Just a
only want
second.
half of our debt.
Miss Huntley, what you have to do, my dear, if you want half the debt, is you have to get married. That's what happens. That's what happens. Otherwise, you're coming into court, and there is no jurisdiction that I know of for almost marrieds. He can't pay half the credit card bills and the child support order that should be a lot more than $200 a month, quite frankly, Mr.
And it will be. I
Huntley.
put an appeal to have it raised to $640 is what he's going to end up paying, which is just enough to cover the minimum payments on the credit cards.
Well, then you shouldn't have made such extensive credit card purchases. What do you want from me?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You chose to live without benefit of marriage. I don't know why. Maybe it had to do with your scholarships. I'm not sure. Quite frankly, I don't have the time to figure it out.
And later today,
If I believe what you're telling me, which I don't, your mother stole the money that you were giving her, and therefore they repossessed your car and you wanted to get it back.
That's the truth.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 24-year-old Heidi Huntley claims ex-boyfriend Eric Huntley owes for half of their credit card debt.
Now, the two of you chose not to get married. You chose for whatever economic reason to live without benefit of marriage. I don't know why. Maybe it had to do with your scholarships. Maybe it had to do with something else. I'm not sure. Quite frankly, I don't have the time to figure it out. But if you chose to do that, you can't come to court and say, listen, now you have to go through our assets and liabilities. If I were to go through your assets, if I were to go into your home, Miss Huntley, and look at what you have in your home, would anything in your home be the product of the purchases that were made on these credit cards?
Some things.
And did Mr. Huntley take any things out of the home when he left other than his clothes and personal effects?
No, but some of those things were also on these credit cards.
No, just a second. I don't care. I'm talking about his clothes and personal effects. I'm not talking about beds and refrigerators or washer dryers or anything else that it goes to set up a household.
No, I kicked him out and he took nothing.
Right. Well, then you pay the bill. Bye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She wants to make sure that I can't live a successful life without her. I mean, it's either come back to her or be miserable.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Serrano versus Lugo. Step forward.
23-year-old Patricia Serrano is suing her former friend, Elda Lugo, for a $3,500 loan plus interest. Elda claims Patricia gave her the money from a large settlement.
Ms. Serrano, according to your complaint, the defendant is a friend of yours from high school. She ran into some financial difficulty some time ago and approached you about lending her some money.
Yes, Rich.
You were a good friend. You lent her the money, $3,500. She didn't pay you back. You want
No.
your money back.
Yes.
Ms. Lugo says that you were a good friend to her. You gave her $3,500. You would come into some money. There was never any discussion of payback. As far as she was concerned, it was a gift.
I beg to differ.
When did you graduate from high school, Ms. Lugo?
In June of 2001.
And between June of 2001 and the date of this loan or gift, which was on what date?
Last year, around August or July.
How often did you see each other?
After high school, we didn't see each other because we stopped being friends. And after she had a really bad car accident, her mom came and I started being her friend again. That's when we started.
What year?
I honestly do not recall what year she had a car accident.
What year?
It was in 2002, Your Honor.
Now, tell me about the day you approached Miss Serrano with your money troubles.
I did not approach her. I was just telling her my problems that I had with my family.
Shh, I don't. Listen, if you interrupt again, I'm going to dismiss your case. Do you understand?
Yes, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just told her I was having really hard times with my parents. I was having a lot of financial problems.
What kind of financial problems were you having, Miss Lugo?
My mom stopped making the payments, so they took my car from me.
How old are you?
23.
Why was your mother making your car payments for you?
Because we're both on the loan, and I was giving her the money. She was making the payments out of her account.
What were you working for at the time?
Bay Cities National Bank.
So why weren't you paying the money directly?
Because that was just an arrangement that I had with my mom.
And are you saying that your mother stole your money?
I'm not saying she stole the money. I'm just saying that she wasn't making the payments, and they took the car from me.
So you're saying that if you gave your mother the money and your mother wasn't making the car payments,
She was using it for something else.
that she stole your money?
I guess.
And you told Ms. Serrano that your mother stole your money and they repossessed your car?
I told Patricia the problems that I was having with my parents and why they took my car from me.
Miss Lugo, I don't hear that that's a problem that you're having with your parents. If I believe what you're telling me, which I don't, you're telling me that your mother stole the money that you were giving her for your car loan and using it for her own purposes, and therefore they repossessed your car and you wanted to get it back.
Right.
Now, is that what you want me to believe?
That's the truth. That's exactly how everything's
When did you
always
move
been.
out of your mother's house?
Early September.
So you stayed in your mother's house another year after she stole your money?
Actually,
see where I'm going? So you had more financial difficulties than just this alleged theft by your mother of your money.
I couldn't just leave my house and just leave everything, like all my parents and my sisters behind.
Well, if I were living with somebody that stole my money and as a result of that my car was repossessed, I certainly wouldn't live there.
In June, I actually drove to Vegas and I was going to move over there with my cousin.
That's June 2006. We're still talking about 10 months that you were living with your mother, the thief, if I believe you. Which
Right, I really didn't have a choice. I mean, I must.
Okay, you're 23 years old, you always have a choice. Okay, now I'm going to get to you, Miss Serrano. Now that I'm getting the personalities in order.
Yes.
Tell me what happened when she approached you in August of 2005 about this money.
Well, she told me the story that her car had gotten repossessed.
Did she tell you how it got repossessed?
Well, she didn't give me a straight answer. I never really did get straight answers from her.
That's a lie.
Don't interrupt. Go ahead.
You know, she came to me, she said, Patty, I haven't been able to make the payments. My mom and my dad aren't helping me out. I just don't have anywhere else to go to for money.
That's not true.
And I said, well, if you need help, feel free to come to me. She said, well, thank you so much. And a couple of days later, she came to me. She said, Patty, I need to take you up on your offer. Can you lend me $3,500? And I said, sure thing, I'll write you a check. And I'm not too sure if it was a day or two later that she said, it's too much trouble to go about, with the check. I can't cash it. She even told me that her mom had found the check and was questioning her about the check.
That's not true.
Why I was giving her a check for $3,500. And she said, well, I'll give you back the check, and can you please give me $3,500 in cash? I said, wow, I'm like, okay, let me see what I can work out. And I went to the bank, withdrew $3,500 cash.
Let me see, from your bank.
Yeah, it's right here.
Where did you get all this money from?
I was involved in a very serious car accident in 2002, and I got a small settlement out of it.
Large settlement.
Oh, that's interesting, Miss Lugo. Did you say a large settlement? How large?
I don't know.
When you said it was a large settlement, you must know something about the settlement.
That's all she would always say. She got a large settlement. I never wanted to ask
I never
how
told
much.
you anything.
When did she tell you about this large settlement?
After she was recovering from her injuries.
When did you get the settlement?
Sometime in 2004.
You still have any of the money left?
Yes, I do. Some in investments.
Good. So you gave her $3,500 in cash.
Yes.
And what was the arrangement about paying you back?
She said, okay, Patty, you know I wouldn't have done this if I really didn't need it. Believe me, I'm going to have this money to you tops the end of the year when I get my bonus from the bank.
That's not true.
So I said, okay, you know what?
What part of keep quiet don't you understand?
End of the year came. I didn't see the money. She said, well, I just need a couple of more months, whatever. And I said, okay, just don't forget about it. I'm being your friend here.
When for the first time, Ms. Lugo, did the plaintiff ask for this money back?
Early September.
That's a lie.
So, what part don't you understand?
Sorry, Your Honor.
Tell me about the conversation when she asked you for the money back.
She started calling me at work and she started emailing me at work.
What would she say when she called?
She was just calling me, telling me that she needed to meet me somewhere.
When did she, for the first time, ask you for the money back? Answer my question.
I believe her first email was September 7th.
That's not true.
Shh. Next time you're gone. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I assume you want me to consider giving you your money back.
Yes, please.
Then don't do it again. September 6th, and what did she say in the email? Do you have a copy of that email?
No, I don't.
Do you have a copy of the email?
Yes.
I want to see the email from September 6th.
She emailed me a promissory note that she wanted me to sign, that she saying that I owed her the money, because.
Shh. Well, he emailed her, and you said to her that you planned on giving her the money.
Yeah, she was calling me at work nonstop, and she was just harassing me.
No, this has nothing to do with a response to harassment.
That's only the email that she gave you, but she didn't tell you about the phone calls that she was making to work.
I just want to see the emails. This is Wednesday, September 6th, and it's a lovely email. Absolutely lovely. You're happy for her. You're happy that she's happy. Hey, I'm not sure what's gone wrong between us again, but I really appreciate everything you have done for me and the times you've been there for me. I guess we are once again going our own separate roads. If it's the money thing, it's stopping you, don't worry. I will give it to you. Do me a favor. Please do not email me at the bank. I get in trouble for receiving personal emails.
My manager talked to me, and she was telling me that I was receiving too many personal emails. She emailed me.
Listen to me. She wants her money back.
Yeah, after she was trying to get with my boyfriend, she was trying to hook up with my boyfriend, and I confronted her about it. Until then is when she came back and wanted me to sign a promissory note and said that the gift that she gave me for $3,500 was then the loan.
I don't see why somebody who doesn't look like they're rolling in dough would give you $3,500 and not expect to be repaid at some point. Not necessarily in a week, not necessarily in a month or 6 months or even a year. But someday, within a reasonable period of time, when you got your act together, if you ever get your act together, she expected her money back. And to stand there at this point and say, well, she tried to get over on my boyfriend, and that wasn't right, and therefore I'm not paying her a dime, that's the wrong thing to do. It's not the moral thing to do. You want to end a relationship with her? Terrific. Do it. You're not friends anymore? You don't want to be friends anymore? Fine. But she was there for you when you needed her, and you're supposed to do the moral right thing and pay her her money. Just for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,500. That's all.
Yeah, this is case